Huh. Take two on our 123rd episode of Gorilla Radio. I'm Joe Caprino. I have Mike here, and you tried getting on the previous one. Geez, I don't think you can hear me. Um,
I can hear you.
Previous episode, I had some issues, and we're here now. So, welcome, Mike.
What's up? What's up?
Hope people are hearing me. I cannot. Yeah, looks like it is. Okay. So, let's see. Which one is the good one? It looks like we have two lives going all of a sudden, so that's good. So, how's your week going, Mike?
Uh, Pretty good. Just trying to get through all the rankings, all the conference meets. Lots of notable results. Obviously, got to see some guys at weights that we kind of heard. There's some switching of some weights going on, so always an interesting time of year where you're getting, hey, we're gonna move here, or like someone that told you they're gonna be down, and then you see them down at that weight finally. So always an interesting time of year for the rankings. So hopefully we'll get those up this week or weekend, which will be good.
Yep. Yeah, it's one more. I mean, I guess you'll probably have about two iterations, small changes, and double checking, make sure everyone's in the rankings or at the right weights, and any special surprises. No Big Mo Amadandes coming in.
No big Ramadan days.
Yeah, I mean, not last year. I don't think he wrestled dual sectional, so we were all like, "Is he gonna wrestle? Is he gonna wrestle?" And then he, showed up. So end up have a pretty good run. So we got to make sure all those guys are in there, and like you said, make sure that the weights you've heard they're going to supposedly going, they're actually going to be there.
Yeah, I think it's always a big one. I'm sure there'll be some surprises. You hope with sicknesses in schools and weather, everyone's able to compete. I think a lot of the state had some delays and stuff, right?
Yeah, we were off yesterday because of the ice, and end up still having our match with Belmont. Luckily, I didn't want to.
Seen that.
Hard part is losing, losing potentially senior night, and I'm like, oh crap! Now we're gonna have to try to find something. You always want to have your senior night. So luckily we were able to have that. But yeah, we were closed yesterday, and lots of schools were. It's supposed to get kind of cold next week, so hopefully we can stay out of COVID quarantines and out of snowstorms for the next few weeks.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be huge. Have everyone stays healthy. That's that's a big part.
Yeah, definitely. Don't want. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of scary to see what's going to go on, in the next couple of weeks. But I guess, hopefully we're able to finish our season and everyone's healthy. I mean, that's the main thing, is being able to have our season. I know a couple of years ago was real scary, and hopefully we don't have to worry about that at this time.
Yeah, and Indiana done a great job of getting the tournament in.
Yeah.
So we could have been like Ohio. Ohio didn't get theirs in.
Yeah, Ohio didn't get theirs in, and we were lucky to get ours in. Before everything went downhill, and I couldn't imagine. One of the things, just couldn't imagine being a baseball coach or a track coach and having to tell kids that we're not going to have a season.
So, oh yeah, you're not going to have some of those guys senior year. You're not going to have.
Yeah. So. Tweet that out.
But a lot of, also we had Girls State, which really good.
Yeah.
Really good Girls State. I was watching all the live updates, watching them flow. Tulsa was this past weekend also. You got the first two middle school qualifiers, which I'm sure they probably need. I think that event was growing really quick. I think the middle school state qualifiers are a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. The qualifiers, I have not seen the numbers. I know some people were complaining a little bit about the numbers, and if they're starting to explode out. They still have 2 more days, so anyone that complains about numbers for an event, no one registers until the last 24 hours. So
Indiana Mat, bless your. IPO.
Yes, unless you're IPO and you sell out. All you do is sell out one time, and people will start registering early.
Oh yeah.
It looks like the numbers are getting up there, so that's good. I mean, it's a great event, and I'm glad to see people are registering. That the girl state was really cool. That was I had quite a few good matches in there. I was gonna bring that up so I can talk intelligently about it. Mackenzie Smith, I know
The
she's
the girl finals or finals?
finals.
I don't get WZBD. I always got to go back and listen to it on a podcast on my podcast network.
um, yeah, Ocampo Kroll was a real good match. I'm sure.
Yeah, just I think that's a good weight. We were talking about it before, but that's like one of the better weights. You have two. Are they both nationally ranked?
Yeah,
Ocampo and Kroll. I know they're both ranked in the state.
Yeah.
And then Joy Cantu was in the preseason rankings. I mean, that was something we had talked about. I think all three of those guys will have an opportunity to punch a ticket. I mean, obviously, you got to see Ocampo the week before at not the Wild Bill, just the Bill Kerbal, right?
Yeah, Bill Kerbal, not Wild, just normal Bill.
Wrestling John. And John's tough, man, from Bluffton. But a lot of those girls were doubling up. I seen just going over some of the conference stuff. I know Joey Cantu wrestled that, and then the next morning has to make weight and go wrestle the DAC. I don't think they got an allowance.
No, they didn't.
You said they didn't get allowance at Bill Kerbal, right?
No, they didn't get none. There's no allowance at the Bill Kerbal. So that's not. It's kind of weird what they consider it. I believe Maryville did have an allowance because wasn't Hobart and Crown Point before?
Man, isn't that like the best though? Like when you get someone wrestles East Chicago, shout out to Bobby Joe and Timmy. They used to wrestle some Illinois team every Friday before the Harvest Classic. You get that extra pound. We didn't have IndianaMat back then with all the schedules, so you didn't really get to know. Were they wrestling? It's kind of word of mouth. Yeah, they're competing tonight. Then show up and you get blessed with that little bit extra weight.
You never realize how much a pound means much to you until you have to lose weight.
Oh man, that's it's an understatement. You don't know how much. I think that's why I appreciate Thanksgiving so much and Christmas dinner. Like a lot of those times you're competing that season, you don't get to enjoy those luxuries of life. Maybe some guys do, but
yeah,
we were. I think we were cutting a good amount of weight back then. But so I think. I know I'm sure we're gonna touch on that too. Toriana Buchanan, she wrestled 13 at the girls' state, and I believe she wrestled 6 the next day at their conference also.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, so pulling double duty. I know we were tweeting about it a little bit. I think just a cool event. I'm happy that it's one of those things. I think we talked about it with Team State, where the IHSA, kind of pushed that to the side, and obviously women's wrestling hasn't been sanctioned. But Falcon said that they wouldn't be able to compete in both if they had to, if there was an opportunity. I think there's a real cool chance to have the female state, and then you can also have some stuff where you can try some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to say, hey, we can do wrestlebacks, at the state finals level, and then give it to the women. That's something you have total control over, right? Or whoever's running and has total control of that. And I think that's what the cool thing about the Team State was. The Coach Association has total control of how they want to run it, and they want to run it in class. Awesome, we'll run it in class. We want to run it in pools. We want to run it in bracket. And I think with it not being a sanctioned sport, and we have, as a community, have control over that event, a lot of the stuff that we've been pushing for, I think would be cool to incorporate into that event and see it, show that it does work. So now you're pulling a little bit of double duty,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good way to show that, hey, with the time and everything, we can get this done in a reasonable amount of time, and we can do those types of things. So, it's kind of use them as the the test dummy. I mean, I guess is the best way to say it. I mean, show hey, this can work. We can do wrestlebacks. We can do an extra round right there. Like they added the 6 girls. It used to just be 4. They added 2 more from each regional, and then they ran that kind of like the old semi-state 12 person bracket, and which was pretty cool. They got to you got to wrestle in, and you got more girls qualified, and I think that helps the sport, and definitely shows that there is a need. I think there's only one weight class that didn't have at least 6. There might be 1 or 2 that didn't have at least 6 girls in the regional, which is great. And it's, I mean, when you're talking 14 weight classes, that's a lot of weights to be filling with a bunch of teams. So, Kayla Johnson, Southport over Tori Buchanan. That was huge. Buchanan going for her 4th, and that was I saw the result, and I did a double take and ended up having to pull that match up pretty quickly. I'm like, what happened there? Did she what did she get caught? Did something crazy happen? And it was, I mean, Johnson was on bottom and kind of just hipped in and put her to her back, and she was flat. It was, I mean, there was no question. That's crazy.
Sorry, I'm eating high chews for dinner, so I can see me snacking. They're like my favorite candy. I forgot that I had them. I just remembered I had them from a gift from the team. That is huge. I mean, going for 4. There's only been one other 4-timer, right, for women's?
I believe so, but I believe they got, I think, at heavyweight, I believe Riley Dempton-Wolf got her 4th also.
Yeah, she was a 2nd, right? Before that, it was only the girl from Penn.
Yeah.
Buchanan was going for her 4th, and I mean, unfortunate for Buchanan, but Kayla Johnson, awesome, great job. Getting the dub. That's what we love about the sport, right?
Yep. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy upset, and that's what goes on. 120 was a pretty solid weight class. Katie Campbell, I think she won either 2nd or 3rd. Her and her sister, I believe, are
4-time finalist, right?
Yeah. And then Phoebe Dowdy from Indian Creek. Her dad was a pretty good wrestler there.
She has her profile on the site.
Yeah.
I was going through looking at how many of the rankings, how many people don't have their picture, and some of the women's have have their photos, and she definitely has one.
Yeah.
Delos, her dad runs the ISWA. They're on with Rex and Dane, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Delos.
And then 126, Anna Krija, who just signed with Life University over Andrea Hernandez, Belmont. That was pretty. Krija is pretty tough. She's really kind of took it to a different level this year.
One of my friends from Center Grove, they don't do they don't watch a lot of wrestling. They're softball friends, and they sent me a picture. She's pretty jacked. Like the picture that Swain had tweeted out. They're like, "Is she pretty good?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's real good."
Yeah. Kelly Campbell of North Montgomery over Kyra Thompson of Noblesville at 132. Katie Mattingly from Carmel over Trinity Coyne, Belmont at 138. Obviously, it's always interesting seeing some of these names like Mattingly from Carmel. That's a wrestling name in Carmel. Krija, obviously a wrestling name. Her brother's pretty good at wrestling also. Her younger brother.
Yeah.
I wonder if she beats him up.
Same weight, right?
Yeah.
Right around there.
Yeah. Olani Davis from Kokomo over Sela Zingaru from Terre Haute North. And then Kirsten O'Neill, Warren Central over Jaslyn Gramlin. O'Neill was a 3-timer. Obviously, her dad's head coach at Warren Central was at Wabash. So a little bit of family history in there. Mallory Winter from Jay County. Imagine that.
Nice article on her also.
Yeah, I didn't realize she's only a freshman over Sydney Bassett of Purdue Polytech. Hannah West, Mount Vernon, over Mackenzie Konaz from Penn. Evelyn Mosconi from Southport over Denise Galacia of Lures at 182. Vardizzi Bachelor from Northview over Dania Simpson from Fort Wayne. And then Riley Wolf over Haley Thompson of Columbia City. That Columbia City girl is big. Like she's like not like, I mean, she's like 6'3" or something. She's just huge. She's it was quite a tale of two different athletes when her and Wolf were wrestling. Sudden victory, stall call in overtime that decided the match, unfortunately. So
that's tough. But I don't know what she's. I didn't see the match. I had something to go to, so I had to go back and watch it. Was she stalling?
I mean, you're talking heavyweights, so it's kind of questionable, but it is what it is. So, but that's pretty good. It sounded like it was, everything went really well for them, and it's good to see it's growing. And I know, sound like Danny Struck said they're gonna make a proposal to the IHSA this spring. So we'll see how that goes and see what kind of proposal they're making.
That's tough. I'm gonna go back and watch it on low account, but you don't want to see that. Yeah. Not in overtime.
Yeah, let them decide it. Saw that one at a different event. Maybe Wild Bill this weekend. That was fun. Never fun to be on either side of those. You got to win, but you don't like to celebrate those.
No, I mean it's tough.
So yeah, that was a great event. Glad to see the girls are getting more and more steam. I know I was talking to Razzo yesterday, and he said that his girls are getting. They're starting to line up some college visits and stuff with the Belmont girls. So that's good to see that. It's a great way. Especially if you're a girl and you're in this, you want a nice little ticket to possibly get a free or next to free education. It's a great way to do that. So wrestling's a good avenue to help get you a nice college education. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities. Obviously, they had the coach from Indiana Tech, and they had Amy Hildebrandt on the show this past week, and they were kind of talking about the opportunities for people. So take an opportunity to have some of your college paid for, and continue to do what you love.
Yeah, definitely. So it'll be interesting to see how Indiana's recruited more as the state tournament becomes more and more bigger and everything. So other results from this weekend, a lot of conference events. We can go
handy dandy notable wins, notable results page.
Yes, that's
always one of my favorites.
That's always a fun one to look at. I guess one of the bigger ones was the Hoosier Hills Conference, where Floyd Central beat Columbus East by 8.5 points, and Floyd Central, what were they, 6th, 7th at Team State?
Yeah, and I know we kind of touched on it when we were discussing the event, that they were down a couple guys, a couple of really good guys, and that's never easy to rebound from. I mean, especially if they're 3A, but they're not the smallest one. But you take anybody, two or three, anyone's best wrestlers out of their lineup, it's always gonna be difficult to win.
So that was a big win for them, and obviously kind of a little bit of redemption after they outplaced Columbus East. Obviously, the tournament format's a little bit different, and but that was kind of a little bit of shocking when you're looking at it, like, oh wow. So they're not shows that they didn't have their better guys are a big part of what's going to go on there. So curious if how they matched up team.
Yeah, you had 1 and 2 at 160. Jay Conway, Cade Law, sudden victory 3-1. Conway wins. I mean, that's going to be a nice little treat for those guys down in Evansville, semi-state across the board. Those guys are really good. Obviously, we've seen Cade Law at the Al Smith. winning a second title. Missed a year in there, and
Hmm.
obviously Jay Conway's really good. He's gonna be a Missouri Tiger, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's gonna be those are gonna be some death draws at 160 there for
Yeah,
somebody.
I think that's going to be one of the interesting things too. We were talking about weight movements, and we can talk about one in a second when we go to a different conference. But when you start looking at your semi-state and the best path, um, especially for some of those teams that are looking to score high, like if you have a guy that's a borderline guy that maybe he has a little bit lighter weight, maybe he misses 160, just because it's a little bit tougher down there,
Yeah.
or you guys just do like Fort Wayne and put all the best guys in one weight and just have them. Come on,
That's
rats.
how we try to do it. So I was just looking through there. Um, they it looked like Floyd Central outplaced Columbus East in eight of the weight classes. Most of them probably were head to heads. There's a couple that I'm not 100% certain if they're head to heads or not, but which is very interesting to see. So they obviously would have been right in there, having all their guys there for a duel. Um, yeah, that it's going to be interesting to see if there's any late shifts. I know we always have a few uh, guys that we kind of. I think last year was at Zionsville, bumped a couple guys up and had pretty solid paths and kind of worked out for them at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to plan it, I think. And after regionals, I mean, sectional regional kind of play out to seeds. Obviously, you seed your sectional 1 through 4 at the regional. I mean, basically, it is what it is. Then semi-state, you kind of throw that out the window, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like it doesn't matter, like all the planning, and if we miss this guy, we got 33% chance to hit here. And you kind of toss that out the window because it's just a matter of luck at that point. Maybe it's a guy that you probably beat, or I mean, how many times? I know that's happened a couple times at East Chicago / Maryville, where someone gets pulled out of the bracket, and like you're loving your draw, they don't give you the option. Hey, like I want to stay in this. I was a 3. I was a 3rd. Let me stay in the 3rd spot. The number 2 leaves. And you go into his spot, and he has a death draw, and it's just kind of how it shakes out.
yeah. Yep, the old fun draw of death. I mean, that's what happened to Purdy his freshman year.
Yeah. Well, I think that, and then the 2 rounds, which I think personally the 2 most exciting rounds for me, just because there's so much randomness to it. There's no really rhyme or reason. Is the ticket round,
Mm-hmm.
where you're gonna there's no rhyme or reason to the ticket round. It just is. Like if you're a 1, you could draw the second. I know Juan Grange last year. I believe that there was some posting on the board about he was a 2 coming out of
Then regional.
South Bend, and he draws Barkett in the ticket round. You know, and I think that it's tough, but that's Indiana wrestling, and then obviously like Saturday morning, there's no rhyme or reason to it either.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just a random. I think obviously I'm a fan, so I like it. I think the randomness is, but I'm sure there's coaches that are like, we had to really show up Saturday morning, and the best guys do, man. And that's the round. How many can you get into the semis for a state championship?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's the the round where you need to. I mean, it's you're either in the semis or you're done. You're wrestling for 5th, and so um, the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Brownsburg ran away with it.
Yeah, I think this is one of the ones where I think they kind of made a good move.
Yeah, the big move, the big news, I guess, was Gunnar Henry dropping down.
And actually, a couple of those guys dropped down, right? Because Vincent McDonald was at 95 also, or was it McClure? One of them was at 95 also.
They both McDonald and McClure and Henry were all at 182.
Yeah.
Conference.
So
And
I believe they were up at 95 for a lot of the season.
yes, I think McClure was. I know McDonald was. McDonald actually wrestled our guy at Al Smith. Um, so yeah, that's an interesting move for him.
And Jeremiah Smith had a big win last week too. He might have beat McClure, so that's a pretty good 4.
Yeah.
5. Schneider's good also.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid 182. I mean 195. You got Antov Jordan and Max Broom, pretty solid guys. in both state qualifiers. Jordan was a placer at 220 last year, so
yeah, Charlie Irish too. Charlie Irish 25-5. I mean, just a good or that's 220. I'm sorry, I went further.
Yeah,
just a good weight.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty solid conference. They are not adding Carmel and I think we go over that last week. They are not adding Carmel and Center Grove, so that would have been a killer wrestling conference.
Oh man, it'd have been a killer football conference too, right?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm sure. I mean I know wrestling and I know a little bit about football, but I would guess that would be a killer, just in any sport. I know that. I mean, just knowing the demographics of those schools and everything, I'm sure every sport has some. They all have some solid teams. I know Zionsville's pretty good at baseball, from what I pretty positive.
I know Brownsburg's put a couple guys in the league. We know crab cakes and we know football.
Callahan from Brownsburg would be a Southport kid. I believe it was Smith ranked third. It was a JV. I don't think Nathan Smith wrestled any JV invites. So unless it was something else.
We can look into it.
Yeah.
Nathan Smith, good. If that is, good win for Callahan. I mean, Nathan Smith's Fargo All-American, right?
Yeah. And ranked pretty high. She's like a bulldog.
Yeah.
Preston Haynes over Tommy Frazier, Logan Miller over Seth Syra, and Braxton Vest. They're also pretty good weight.
Really good weight.
Yeah, Miller had a 3-0 win over Perry Meridian last night.
Not Keaton Morton.
Was it Morton? It was Morton.
No, Keaton Morton. He's at 26, right? Billerman. Or was he up at 26?
Was he up there? Let's see. I thought it was. It was.
Kobe Billerman.
Billerman. It was Billerman. Sorry. Yeah. Last night, Morton over Haynes. Braden Haynes, 11-9. I always get Morton and Billerman are all mixed up. Any other matches from there?
My boy O'Neill, Terry O'Neill's kids, both runner up. It's Brownsburg. Cheney Chef. Looks like Isa didn't wrestle, so we didn't get to see that one.
Mm-hmm. There. Give Chef those guys wrestle a lot. Gavin Garcia over Ike O'Neill. Brad Cooper.
Looks like Cicerelli didn't wrestle either.
Yeah.
At 52. So a couple Brownsburg guys that's still dominant. A couple Brownsburg guys out of there.
So any other? Ryan Cass over Caden Brewer, Luke Panoa. Some young guys that are pretty tough there. And then Layton Jones, Big Mike Platinov. He lost to Just from Franklin Central in the first match of the day.
Justice had some good wins too. When I looked at that heavyweight, I was kind of surprised. I mean, he didn't have like a sparkling record. Franklin Central does a good job with heavyweights, so.
Yeah, they always have good big guys.
I mean, he's had some good wins. Let me get to my spreadsheet, my handy dandy spreadsheet here. I know he's been in the rankings, and then he'll lose to someone that's like not in the rankings, and then you have to redo it. So it's kind of been all over the place for Just. But what is he at? He's had some good wins. I know he had some good wins last week too. It's just tough to put him in like where he falls, just because he has some like questionable losses too.
Yeah.
But definitely a good day of wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. That's always a good conference there. Yeah, he beat Platinov. He lost. Actually, we don't have very much on him.
I can go to my personal messages here.
We gotta get those in the database, though.
I know. I started adding some, and then someone told me they're double on, so it's tough. He has He beat Logan McGraw at Mooresville, who was in the rankings. Lost to the Hamilton Southeastern kid. I know he's had some close ones with Watts. So back and forth. Definitely some good ones. Took 2 tough losses and sudden victory to Watts 3-2. Pladnoff. So definitely a guy that can wrestle with the best, but just got to have a little bit more consistency.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of those that are hard to rank. What other conferences? You got the Duneland Conference, which was Crown Point versus the World.
Man, Crown Point really, I think they're setting records, man. I'm not positive. I'm sure I can go back for a while, but that might be the most team points scored there, 306 to 183. I think I've said before, I think Crown Point's Maryville's a very good, solid team. I think if they wrestled a lot of teams in duels, they're going to win. Obviously, they beat a tough Hobart team early on, but they're runner up there. But man, Crown Point, I think they had 10 champs.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, scoring 300 points in a tournament is tough, and especially an 8-team tournament. How many matches did they lose? They lost 1.
And that was a good match. Captor and Johnny Cortez was a good match.
They lost 3 matches. Am I correct? Or no?
13. Well, they didn't have 4 champs. So heavyweight, 13, 45 did not win, and
20 would have had 2 losses. So they would have had 5 losses.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 losses on the day. And you're wrestling Lake Central, Portage, Maryville, Valpo.
You had, Genders, Tech Falls, Tolbert. Tolbert's a ranked kid. He's a top 10 kid. Mm-hmm. Mason Jones has been in the rankings. Joey Cantu's been in the rankings. Jackson over Cortez. Captor was right there with him. Mm-hmm. DeMarco, I didn't see. Did Cruz injury default? I didn't see what happened there. But Hayden DeMarco, Al Smith runner-up. Frazier over Maldonado. Maldonado's been in the rankings. Ball over a tough freshman, Michael Ortega. Mendez over Vitello. Vitello's been in the rankings. I believe it state qualified 2 years ago. Just tough night, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was, let's see what.
Torres.
120.
Paul said backup. Torres and Titsini.
They had a backup in there.
Sam Goyne, champ. Cody Goodwin over Caleb Carter. 24-5. Maryville doesn't wrestle like a bad schedule. Alex Bennett was in the straight rankings. Anthony White, who's a guy that had to work his way into that lineup, had to win a wrestle off against a state ranked kid in Seth Willems. Beat Connor Spatner from Valpo, who's from Ohio, 12-9 in a high scoring match. And Spatner has some good wins this year. Cruz over Jake Suze. Suze is a returning medalist. Kwiatkowski down a weight class. Jude Mokins in the semi-state rankings. Will Clark over DeMarco. Al Smith final. So they're, Will got 2 wins over 3 this year. Paul Clark over Corey Hill. Reversed that. I think Michael Delgado beat him up pretty good at Al Smith also. Mm-hmm. And Liam Bagley was 3rd. Theodore Sparks, good win over Trey White. Nice match, 6-3. So always a tough conference, but man, Crown Point's just a next level team right now.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, you lose 5 matches, that's pretty impressive.
I would be willing to bet Maryville's probably won most of the stuff they've entered this year. I mean, they didn't have. I don't think they had the showing at the Al Smith that they won it. They would have liked. I don't think they showed very well at the Al Smith. I think they had some tough draws. I think we talked about it when their guys were getting drawn out. They were getting drawn out real tough.
Yeah.
But I think they won Tom Cameron, won that Rich East thing. I don't think it's Rich East anymore. I think they changed it. I don't. And then runner up at the DAC, won the Lake County. It's just, I was telling my dad, he said, "Oh, Maryville's down this year." I'm like, I don't think they're down. They're just kind of Crown Point's national level good.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, Maryville just has like 14 solid guys. They don't have the superstars that you're used to seeing. You have a couple Shreks, or you have some pretty solid guys that you're saying, hey, these guys are going to be on their lights. You don't have a lot of those guys this year. And I mean, they're a very good dual team. I would say they would give any of the top 8 at 220 at 4A, other than I guess minus the top 3 good matches.
Yeah, and I think we kind of got in. Not that I was getting into it with anybody, but I was trying to explain that in the power rankings post. Like the power rankings are just a matchup of where guys are ranked, and they just got guys on the bottom part of the rankings or right outside the rankings. But sometimes I look at that, I'm like, man, I'm pretty Crown Point heavy. Everyone's gonna feel like I'm a Crown Point favorist, and but they keep going out and proving it. They're gonna have an opportunity to prove it Friday again on the national level.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about that pretty soon here, but yeah, definitely another. I mean, they're not afraid, and to hit the better competition should be another good test for them. Let's see. Northern Lakes Conference, Mishawaka over Wawasee. Mid-States, Perry Meridian over Franklin. Pretty close one.
The Jim Tante Cup.
Yeah, yes. The Fedora, is that what they get as a trophy?
Yeah. Bisping Costello, that's at what is that? That's not, I can't think of the name of that conference now. It's right off the top of my head. The Northern Crossroads Conference. They went to like a round robin or something this year, which is weird. I know it's usually individual. It's like Lowell, Hobart, Kiki Valley, Andrean, Highland. I believe no, Griffith's not in there. But yeah, definitely a different format. But I saw that Bisping beat Costello for the second time.
Yeah.
Crown Point and Hobart. Pretty lopsided in that. I thought it was going to be a little. Not that I thought it was going to be close, but they wrestled Friday. It was not close.
Yeah, that's not a good matchup. Crown Point's not a good matchup for anybody.
Oh. Well, we talked about it. The team state. I'd put money on it. That's probably one of the worst Hobart's ever been beaten in the history of their program, and they're not bad either. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know what their worst loss is, but I know ever since I've been around wrestling, they've been pretty solid.
Yeah. That looks like pretty much the Garrett invite. Norwell over Garrett in a close one. A few good matches there. Let's see. Where was it? 152. You had Chase Leach over AJ Dahl 3-2.
Saw that one.
145. Ben Miller over Braxton Miller. The other Miller had to change their name, and you had Braden Baker and Spencer Hart, real good weight class at 145. Eli Johnson just committed to Wabash. Congratulations to him. He's been pretty dominant so far this year. 2
Wabash commits today, right?
Did we get another? Yeah, Cresia, and then somebody. Eli Johnson, and then Brandon Hammer was yesterday, I think. Yeah.
Brandon Hammer from Tippecanoe Valley.
That'd be good if your last name's Hammer.
He's good. He is good.
Yeah. Jelante Hinton over Victor Rodriguez at Hammond Central. Hammond went over to the Garrett, over to the Wayne area.
When were they wrestled the JV one for Southport?
I have no clue.
Nathan Smith beat Cameron Meyer at their conference. So I don't know if they wrestled anything during the week.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think that Meridian would be wrestling.
Send Cameron Meyer Nathan Smith as a senior to a JV event.
Well, Perry Meridian's not Perry, but Brownsburg. Their JV is pretty good. I think he's. I have to look at it, but I was just doing a little background on it.
Southport. Okay. Anyway,
where were we at? The Garrett invite.
Yeah.
Demetrius Dean. He won it at 182.
Yeah. Where would they have wrestled? John Hurley. I know. They might have.
Trevor Holt over Keaton Morton this week. That was at the Zionsville invite.
Zionsville. Shamrock.
That's the what is that one called? The Fedley or whatever. Is that what it's called?
Teams. Go to Zionsville. See, we can do. There's the Fenley Invitational.
Because I thought they posted that he was still undefeated like last week.
Yeah. They have 2 of them. There's an Eagle invite, but Brownsburg was not there. Neither was Southport. Southport was at neither of those events. Neither is Zionsville event.
Could be. That was a good one. What conference is Perry Meridian in? There was the one with Franklin. They had a really good 126 there. You had Holt, Joey Butler over Holt over Keaton Morton, and then Caleb Weiss over Keaton Morton. That was I think that was pretty good top 4 there.
Yeah, definitely.
Joey Butler wrestling real well right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll be a force. Is he going to be at 120 or 26?
126. I think he's been up at 32 a little bit, but 126. Okay. How about Modern going into Tennessee and wearing would they win like cowboy hats?
Yeah. Yes.
That's cool. Different. Let's see any others. Sarah Butler over Hull 12-3. They gave a breakdown of the Conway Law match. Fortune of Reitz over Ameto of Evansville Central. Glithero over Eli Bustamante. Luke Hansen over Tommy Hannon of Bishop Chittard. I think they were talking about those guys are all both pretty good at football. I know there was a football discussion going on there.
Yes.
How about we got the showdown tonight? Cathedral, the city champs versus the county champs around Cali.
City versus the county. Obviously, the city's better than the county, right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, we got that pretty. I mean, it was a little lopsided towards Cathedral, but there's a lot of close matches there. That I mean, you had Bragg over Rossman 10-4. Bryce Lowry over Luke Gonzalez 3-2. Dylan Graham over Zach Wilson 6-4.
Dylan Graham, one of those guys that's real tough to rank too.
Yeah. Yes. He's been in the semifinals and he beats some good guys and loses some guys.
Well, so during the day, like when results are happening, I try to move the the spreadsheet where okay, cool, like when Dylan Graham beat May, cool, move him way up. And then I think he lost to someone that was on the lower part of the rankings. I had to move him back down. Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah. Sounds like May's probably going back up to 52 for the state series. At least that's what I saw earlier.
Hopefully he's feeling better. I know that ankle did not look good at Team State.
Yeah, definitely. What's on the agenda for this week? Got more conferences. You have
more conferences.
Yeah, about the other half of the conferences.
That's tough, man. I mean, which week would you rather take off? Would you rather take off the week before sectionals and kind of get that bye week like NFL? Let your guys rest up, heal any injuries, or would you rather compete and then go right into like another competition?
I like having this Saturday off. I didn't think I would ever say that, but it's nice to have a week off because there's going to be 4 grinding weeks in a row. Just adding another week to the to the grind. So I like having this week off for our kids. We got a week and a half. We wrestled last night. We have a week and a half before sectional. We can heal any injuries. We can kind of slow it down just a little bit for the next couple of days to kind of just,
You should start, tapering and feeling good. It's what they, practice really hard when your body feels good. You need to start letting your body feel good.
Yeah. So, I mean, shorter practices, things like that we're already doing. But having this weekend off, we can have, if we're banged up and stuff, we don't have to have practice on Saturday. We can just let the guys sleep in and enjoy a Saturday before, we have 4 in a row. I mean, it's also good for me for family that I know, hey, I can spend time with my family on a Saturday because I know the next 4 weeks I'm going to be in a gym. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I think it's tough. You have that, and then I don't think someone had told me before kind of like that plan and why they do that, and you're not gonna like gain your lungs and everything this week, right?
yeah,
You're not gonna figure it out and say, well, today's the day I just figured everything out. The one meet before. I mean, more than anything, you want guys to be rested, but it's tough because it's your conference. You want to participate,
yeah, yeah. And a lot of teams take a lot of pride in their conferences. We've obviously I've said it multiple times that we're not in a conference, which it's. I mean, for some kids, it's being a conference champion or a conference placer is
Yeah,
really big for them, and that's cool. But
it
it's one of
is.
it's one of those things that I think it's given us a lot of freedom, and I like having this week because around here up in northern Indiana, most of the conferences are this coming weekend, so I like having that weekend off. I mean, I've been able to go watch some wrestling, get some scouting on some teams, and like, hey, this is a team we got to watch out. See some kids that I have my spreadsheet of our sectional lineups. Hey, we need to see, these 2 or 3 kids from a school that we don't get to see very often, and see, go watch some wrestling and spend some time with the family, have a Saturday off, do whatever I need to do. So it's nice
Yeah.
to me, it's nice to have a Saturday off.
Are they not running the Gary Burkhardt anymore? I mean, Danny Bell's in here. They used to be like the same weekend. He used to have Mishawaka, Portage, Munster used to be in there.
I
That
don't
was
know.
part of the great McGill Cosgrove rivalry set. Plenty of time off in the off season. Paul doesn't mean that. Paul doesn't mean that. There's no off season.
No.
A lot of these guys don't take off season. They take a little bit of time and then they're right back at it.
Yeah, I got little kids club now coming up tomorrow night, and gotta get Rocco. We got to get our. We didn't make it to Tulsa this year, but we're gonna try to get 150 matches in. As a 5-year-old. So
you're gonna head to Tulsa. Shout out to Landon Hawkins getting a true second, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They only gave out 1 medal. At IPO, he grabbed 2 of them. So
did you see that trophy, that like Eagle trophy?
Yeah, for second place, that's a second place trophy.
Yeah, well, they're man, I'll tell you, the guy that won it in his weight's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo Bassett ain't bad. He's pretty good.
Decent.
Yeah,
he's decent.
But true second, that's pretty legit, man. I think we talked about it a little bit about those teams rebuilding, and I think 3 of the guys, 2 guys from Brownsburg placed pretty high.
Mm-hmm. I know Rickman place, and Rojas place also.
Yeah, Rojas placed. Unsafe. I was reading Paul's thing. I was like, they're sending their JV guys to Tulsa. Man, you guys are savages, bro.
Man, that's quite a punishment for them.
Yeah. But I just think that's an interesting, thing. Like, when do you taper? When are you gonna go? But I think we look at the big picture a lot. We look at the statewide picture, and we try to focus. And you're right. A lot of the people that are going to be in there, like being a conference champ, is huge for them. That's huge for their program. That's huge for their school. Mm-hmm. Or winning a sectional is big. That's huge. Like some people look at that maybe like if you're in Crown Point's lineup, then we're just using them or Brownsburg's lineup, whoever. But the top teams being a sectional champ might not mean as much because they have the idea that they want to be a state champ, right? But winning a sectional title is nothing to be ashamed of. Those guys out there grinding. Yeah. All my Logansport peeps, I seen Ken Hughes probably a couple of weeks ago tell me Lars is going to win 4 Logansport championships. And I think he told me Drew didn't win 4 regional championships. So bragging rights in the house.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure that'll go real well.
Yeah.
All Drew has to say is top. We're good.
But a lot of good wrestling is going to go on this weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of SIAC is this weekend.
Yep.
Which is huge.
Southern Indiana. Just going down. ACAC, Allen County Athletic Conference. Even though only like 2 teams are in Allen County. Adams Central, Bluffton, Jay County, South Adams has a real good team. There'll be some real good matches there. The SAC. Shout out to the general. I'm sure he's watching. So
he could voice his opinion, but someone wanted to ban him.
Yes, not me. Northeast 8.
He get banned, you ban yourself. That's pretty much it is.
Yeah.
Ours is a good kid, man. Lars is a good kid.
Yeah. Northeast 8, Belmont, Columbia City, New Haven, Norwell, East Noble, Huntington North, DeKalb, and Leo. Always a real good conference, even though they kicked us out. Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, Mater Dei versus the World. But Morgan,
Castle's there, man. I didn't even look. I'm about to look. They have their. He got banned from the board, man. He can't be throwing out addresses and challenge people to fights. We have a civilized board around here.
Yes. Yeah. When you start putting your address out there, we kind of just like, okay, we're good.
Come on. How many people went on Google Maps and looked at the address?
Google probably. I like to see a spike in that.
Ashton Hayhurst is at 38, so that'd be a nice little showdown there. Yep. Keegan Williams 27-1. You'll have Tyler Vanover, Ashton Hayhurst possibly in the semis. The big one is you have the return of Lee Spencer for Castle at 145. Not Spencer Lee Spencer. The best. I thought we all should have. I know in our group text we were saying we all should have sent a pizza there, like a paid pizza. I'm telling you, that'd have been great. He goes in like spurts, man. Like sometimes he brings good content, and then sometimes he gets so angry he wants to fight everybody.
Yeah. He was at the Wild Bill. He was taming Wild Bill, and I mean, when you have Wild Bill and the general in the building at the one time, I mean that's a storm. I was waiting, so.
Wow, man! Wow.
Wild Bill isn't as wild as he used to be. I'll just say that much.
220 at the SAIC. Critchfield, Farmer, Zach Incerello, 21-5. Ashton Schuler from Jasper. It's a pretty good weight.
Yeah, it is. Whoa, it is pretty good. And they have their brackets up. They're not hiding their brackets in Southern Indiana right now. Woo!
We're gonna get a little Gabe Solers Purdy rematch in 95.
Yeah, and they'll see each other at regional again, and then probably semi-state.
Yeah, that'd be fun for those. That's fun for the 95s out there in the Evansville semi-state.
Yes, get a little preview of what will go on. The Battle of the Neck. You got Garrett and Prairie Heights. Lakeland has some good kids.
Lakeland has had some good kids.
Yeah, Angola has some good kids. It's for a small school conference, always pretty solid. It'll be interesting to see how the Garrett Prairie Heights match was pretty close. We'll see how good in a tournament. A little bit difference there. The TEC. We haven't had any TEC talk lately. Tri-Eastern Conference. I don't know what happened to all the talk about that.
That's what we should do. We should set up a booth at the state finals, and we should just have cards with like different conferences on it. And like I want you to put like where the host school is at.
Name one school in the conference.
A guy told me, he was like, yeah, I went to this really small school. It's by Bloomington. You'll never heard of it. And I was like, I don't know, man. I heard a lot of schools. He's like, it's Owen Valley. And I was like, bro, I have heard of that.
Patriots.
Yeah. So. I mean, like, obviously we're like, but doing this, like you've heard of like Calumet used to go to the Casting Comet Super Duel. I think after I graduated, it was like a 2-day. It was a lot of small schools. And like there were some schools that like at that point I had never even heard of.
Oh yeah.
Like Caston, I didn't know there was a Caston area in Indiana, or Fountain Central. I thought they were making up teams. I knew like Pioneer because they had the Berries back, and I think Scott Berry might have been the same age as me, and he was real tough. He was a smaller guy.
Yeah,
but I think that'd be a fun game.
Yeah.
Hey, come up. We got a school. We're just gonna pull out random schools to like random fans for T-shirts. Here's Mitchell. I don't even know if Mitchell has a team. Here's Mitchell. Where's Mitchell at on the map?
They have a team.
I was watching.
You got to name their. You see, I like the trivia of naming their mascot.
Ooh. Sam Bass. Are they the Outlaws?
Yeah. What do you say?
Sam Bass. Man, I was watching Oak Island. Beyond Oak Island. Sam Bass is from Mitchell, Indiana. Here's Robin Stagecoaches.
They're the Blue Jackets.
Well, it'd been one cool if they're the Outlaws or the Cowboys.
So, excuse me. The big one, the big event this weekend, actually on Friday, Mike and I are going to be on the call. And if you're a Silverback member, you get to watch and listen to our smooth voices. Not to get some salt water to smooth out my voice, but Crown Point.
How much is the Silverback membership, Joe?
$10.
And how do you access your Silverback membership?
You log in.
Okay. I had lunch today, solo lunch today at McDonald's. It was $11.15.
Jeez.
I know. I was shocked. I had a McDouble. I used to thought McDoubles. Remember when double cheeseburgers were $1, and then they bumped them for that extra slice of cheese, and then they said, "Well, now you get the McDouble. It's $1. Now it's like $2."
Yeah. Paul, last year when they had the discussion of the realignment, I kind of wanted to put it in, and it's crazy to look at like the different Brownsburg goes to the furthest semi-state possible. It'd be closer for them to go to Fort Wayne than it would be to Evansville.
You don't want that.
No, we don't.
That's not what you guys want.
But yeah, so yeah, he was talking about the mileage between the southern schools. Like I was trying to trying to group schools, group about 16 schools each for each regional, 16 to 18. And then I just had like 2 or 3 that are like right here that can't go to any like they're 60 plus miles from any regional. Like, are you kidding me? So, anyway, if you haven't gotten your Silverback yet, you should. Yes. Yeah. Silverback membership, $10 for the year. We're going to be doing some more of these hopefully next year. We're going to.
Keith Davidson just sent me a snap of him watching Michigan, Ohio State, and it's a Toriana match. And I guess there's somebody got blood on the mat.
No.
And the girl, and she just came and went face first.
Yes. I did a double take on that. I was actually, the family was watching. I'm like, what? Did that lady just fall on her face? So I just rewound it and we were just laughing.
I didn't laugh because that could be me. I don't want that to be me.
Yeah. So, Crown Point's going up to Mount Carmel. Starts at 6:30 Central Time. JV matches start at 5:30. We'll probably be on about 6-ish to test, make sure everything's running well. We may have a special guest coming, about yay tall, loud. You won't need a microphone. We don't know if we'll put him on the mic.
He's excitable.
Yes. So, going to be a good time. A lot of great matches. Check out, there's a banner that's floating around on the front page and everything. Number 1 in Illinois versus number 1 in Indiana. So, I'm excited. I just talked to Alex a little bit today. Just making sure we're good to go and everything. So it's going to be in their old gym. And he said it's, capacity about 1,000. So that's going to be hot.
I bet they get close. I don't know. I don't know what Illinois is doing right now. I was just there. Yeah. But it'll be exciting. It's going to be an exciting duel.
Yeah. You got a lot of great matchups. The ones I'm kind of looking forward to, Sergio Lemley versus Logan Frazier. Obviously, they're no strangers.
Couple in a row.
Yeah, you got Anthony Ball versus Eddie Enright from Mount Carmel, who's number 7 in the state. That I put their records on that sheet or on that page, but the Mount Carmel wrestlers is an insane schedule. They went out to Iowa. They went to Ironman. They were up in Detroit Catholic Central this weekend. Wrestled some good teams.
Beat Detroit Central Catholics this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, they beat some pretty good teams. You got Jesse Mendez versus Nam Doan, who was a state qualifier for
State placer.
placer for Lake Central.
Yeah, they sent that board. Sorry. Keep going.
Tatimi and Carlos Perez. They said Perez is a Crown Point
Munster kid.
Or Munster.
Was it Crown Point or Munster kid?
Yeah, I didn't know that. So,
nice.
You got 160 will be interesting. Cody Goodwin versus Colin Kelly. Kelly's number 2 ranked in Illinois, and they're in the big school division, so that's even bigger. Those are the biggest matches. I mean, it's going to be close because I
number 5 in the country, number 1, number 7, Gendris Mendoza. Yeah, Mendoza's really good. He was on who's number 1. His dad, Joe told me his dad was a hero. I went and watched it. He was on like the History Channel, like War or like War Fighters or something. They did like basically like an episode. He was on there.
Yeah, he's kind of a BA.
Yeah, pretty much. So a Crown Point showdown at 13 with Resendez and Captor. It's going to be a good duel. It's going to be exciting. I think this is really cool that they were able to do this. Both nationally ranked programs. And then there's some Indiana kids that are not in the lineup. I know Caleb Drusis is there. I know Sertzis is there. So they have a handful of guys that can't make the lineup over there at Mount Carmel that are pretty tough.
Yeah. Wario Acuna. Is that like Central kid?
He would have been, his brother's at Portage. I believe he's a Wheeler kid.
Okay. Him and Cruz. I know Acuna's in the on our watch list just as a reminder that he's not an Indiana type guy. So
yeah. A lot of region guys. What's cool is a lot of these guys train together. And I think that's one of the cool things. He's a Valpo kid. What's cool is a lot of these guys are right on. We live close enough to Illinois where they can come in there, and we've benefited from going. A lot of guys have benefited from going into Illinois. But I'm sure there's a lot of these matches that have happened in their room a ton.
Yeah, definitely, and it's gonna be interesting seeing. You have Sertzis who's coached a lot of those guys at Crown Point. What kind of strategies are they gonna employ? I mean, is it even a little bit unfair that he has a little bit of advantage over those guys, knowing some of their tendencies, knowing their strengths, and I mean, can you coach those guys up to say, hey, watch out for this because this is so and so's really good move.
I think I don't know. I think those guys, when you're out that, you're gonna go out there and just let it go, man. Like you're gonna go. I think I've talked about this with Bobby Joe a bunch. Like if you start trying to take away other people's strengths, are you limiting your success? Like if you're so worried about like, well, they do this, so I'm not gonna do this. Are you like taking away? Shouldn't you focus on what you do better? So it'll be interesting. But those guys are well coached. Alex obviously does a great job. The Crown Point guys, the whole staff, they do a great job.
Yeah.
For as much as like Alex probably, I'm sure a lot of those guys have trained with Vince too. I know Vince. And Vince is a guy that's like a game plan master, man. Like he's talking like he's playing chess, man. A lot of people are playing checkers. Vince is playing chess. He's giving you possible matchups that could be here and what they need to do. He was telling me like how they would match up with modern day like months ago. He's like, it's just gonna happen like that in the semis. I'm like, okay, man.
Already thinking ahead. That's how you gotta think like that. But yeah, should be some great matches. We're gonna be on. There's a link to it on the main portion of the website, so go there. You'll be able to Friday. You'll be able to see it. See the stream. As long as you're a silverback, $10. Save yourself the money of going into Chicago. The drive, everything, and you can put it on your TV and watch it there, and watch some great wrestling, and have a beverage of your choice. Have pizza delivered. So, and you get to listen to Mike and I talk. So,
yeah.
So
we'll grab some special guests out the stands.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll pull in Mekos Luce, and we'll see see if he has anything to talk about.
What's on, man?
We got 4 inputs for my mixer, so we can have two special guests. So
I don't know
if
how much
Bell's there. We'll bring him out of the stands.
Yeah, I don't know how much the coaches are going to want to go on. Those guys are pretty focused.
Yeah.
But, grab some other guys, grab some message board guys, people we know. It'd be good.
Yeah. So we'll find someone to talk to. Everyone loves to talk to us, so I'm excited heading out. Getting off work a little early to head over there to the region, and so it's going to be a good night of wrestling, and
Going down Stony Island on 65th or 65th Ave, 65th and Stony Island. We'll make it happen.
Yep, we gotta find a good place to eat. Grab some dinner too. So
yeah, so if we want to go to the Woodlawn neighborhood, we'll get some food down there.
That doesn't sound good. Do you have a bleep button? We might. I don't know. We'll just...
Cameron was giving us a little bit. He's like, yeah, how bad could it be over there? I was like, man, it's right next to like Woodlawn. I mean, it's pretty bad. He's like, it's probably not that bad. I'm like, I don't know. It's Chicago. It's outside Chicago. Yeah. Not the nicest. I agree, Paul. I was trying to explain that to some of my friends in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's why Mike's driving, because he knows the area better. I'm not good. My wife laughed when I semi-volunteered to drive, and she's like, "No, you should let Mike drive, please."
I'm gonna make us wear neutral colors. Make sure we don't get caught up out there.
Yeah. Oh, we got some new IndianaMat pullovers, or polos coming.
Let's go.
So I have one right here, actually.
But yeah, I would say stay as close to the school as we need to be. Pretty nice.
Yeah, Mike will be. We'll have them here. So. Yeah. My wife knows the good areas and bad areas in the South. Chicago.
Joe said the first 10 fans that want to go to Chicago cuts on him on IndianaMat.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe we should bring some gear, throw it out to the stands. I know. Yeah.
If we have some shirts, man, people love it. When we did the 10-year, we were handing out the shirts at the meets. People loved it.
Yeah. That was fun. That was pretty cool people were hoarding you guys. Still see some of those. I saw someone at where it was at IPO, and this girl was wearing one of the Team Indiana from the Dream Team jackets. I'm like, where do you get that? Because I know where those come from. She's like,
she said, I know Brayton Lee.
Yeah. End up like her boyfriend was with her, and he's like, oh yeah, I won a trivia thing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So pretty neat to see, especially when I know it's really rare gear like that. I see that, I do a double take, or I see someone wearing like a Dream Team shirt or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited. Should be some great wrestling this weekend. A lot of good Big Ten matches.
So man, did you watch Nebraska, Minnesota?
Yeah, Brayton Lee got the mat return of the week.
Then he ended up taking a loss the next day, right, against Wisconsin.
Yeah, on Sunday he took a loss to a guy that was really low ranked he didn't look good at all. I don't know what.
But he looks really good against the Nebraska kid.
Yeah, against Rob, he manhandled him, wrote him out, and got the mat return of the Shane Sparks mat return of the week. If you haven't checked that out, like on Monday night, I think it was at 10 or 10:30. It was late, but they have it's like a Big Ten wrestling show. It was really good, really well put together. Check it out. But Brayton he wrestled real well. Kicked the crap out of Rob. I mean, just manhandled him, and then Russell's just didn't look very good. I don't know. I mean, just didn't have the pop. He was in on shots, but wasn't finishing and things like that. Just was really. Hopefully everything's okay, and just a bad match. I mean, it's hard to get up for every match in the Big Ten, and sometimes you have a bad match. Everyone does, so he'll be back.
Man,
I'm sure.
They were Mannion was on Chad Red in that match, right?
Yeah.
Chad went big, and dude, I thought he was going to lose it. I thought he was going to pull him off the mat.
Oh yeah. So let's see, what do you got? Yeah, Penn State and Michigan tomorrow. Friday night. That should be a good one. IU had a good one with Michigan State on Monday. Came down the last match. They ended up losing by two bonus point matches that hurt them. But yeah, there should be some good. Where's my thing? let's see. I did have what's going on with there it is. This week in Big Ten wrestling. On Friday, you got Iowa, Ohio State at Ohio State. So,
You're taking Ohio State by 12 over Iowa?
whoa. Ohio State got manhandled by Michigan this weekend. That was.
Danny loves him some Ohio State. That's his jam.
Yeah. Now, that was Ohio State did not match up very well with Michigan, and Michigan's pretty tough. So, Michigan Penn State match is going to be really good. We'll have to catch that after on our way home.
Yeah, I think as long as we have vaccine cards, we can go sit down in Chicago and have food.
Nice. Sunday.
Michigan by 12 over Penn State. Oh, I'll have to do it up. Get a rematch possibly of Nick Lee, Stefan Micic from
like 8 years ago.
Yeah, back when Stefan was a senior.
Yes. And Nick was a freshman, and now they're both seniors.
Yep. It'd be interesting. It'd be a good duel.
Yeah. Sunday, Wisconsin at Purdue is going to be on the Big Ten Network, which will be pretty good. So that's kind of cool. What other matches are going on? Let's see. The Big Ten Plus. Yeah, I love Big Ten Plus. My favorite channel. Jeez. Filter by wrestling. Yeah, there we go. Rutgers, Michigan State, Maryland, Indiana. Maryland's at Indiana on Friday. So if you're in the Bloomington area, go watch some good wrestling. Illinois, Purdue. I assume
what's the super fan from Maryland's name? I think he's gonna
Robin
be there.
Ficker.
Yeah, Robin Ficker's gonna be there.
I don't know. That'll be interesting. Sunday, we have Penn State, Michigan State, Maryland, Ohio State, Nebraska, Northwestern, Rutgers, and Michigan. So some good matches there. But yeah, Micic would. Yeah, he was in the same set of pictures on Instagram as Cook. Micic and Cook graduated the same year. It's a running joke. So anything else we need to talk about? Getting late. I mean,
it's getting close to tournament season, man. I think that's the most exciting part.
Yep.
It's been
one more week of rankings, and then you get to be a fan for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Hopefully get these rankings put up. But man, it's going to be exciting. It's always exciting. The team race, I think, is going to be really exciting. Mm-hmm. I think Fort Wayne, it's going to be an exciting semi-state to see who wins that. I think Belmont's the favorite, but I mean, like when you have so many strong individuals, it's really good.
Yeah, it's going to come down to draws. I mean, Belmont's got to get their guy. I mean, you got to get guys through, plain and simple. But they're going to have to get their draws and at the right weight classes. And I think Jay County has some good kids and. I think that Peru regional is really tough this year, which is usually the regional you want to draw into, but that's going to be interesting to see what goes on at semi-state and regional and all that stuff.
I think I think I said it early on. That's what makes Crown Point such a tough it's going to be tough to beat them at the individual state finals, just because I think they're really the cream of the crop at the East Chicago semi-state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be huge for them. And you have Brownsburg and Center Grove and Mater Dei all beating up on each other the week before.
Yeah, and you have some really really tough individuals sprinkled in there too. And I think where Crown Point's going to have some tough draws. Like Carroll and Clark are going to be in the same regional. Like Jack Reese, if he comes back, or Liam Begley and Hunter Weissnick in the same regional. You're eliminating that death draw. Captor and Jackson in the same regional. DeMarco and Cruz are in the same regional. So you kind of eliminate a lot of those death draws for yourself. Where Evansville's really good. Like Evansville overall is like what I would assume what would stopped a lot of what I think like region championships happening is that the region was always so good that there would be a lot of strong individuals scattered through that would take out other strong individuals from those strong teams. Because not only do you have Mater Dei and Brownsburg and Center Grove, But you also have a team like Floyd Central who has some really good individuals that can take guys out. Bloomington South has some good individuals. Columbus East has a lot of really good individuals. Castle has some really good individuals. And now you start throwing those guys in there, and then I'm a huge East Chicago fan. I love the region. But when the brackets for semi-state come out, I'm looking at Evansville, because you're looking like there's going to be so many tough draws there.
Yeah, that's going to be – it's always one of the favorite nights of the year, is just looking at the draws and like, ooh,
Yeah,
we still want to do a live reaction. I don't know if we can do that, because we can't do Fort Wayne, because I'll be like, that'll be an explicit podcast. We'll get the explicit mark.
That'll be the Guerrilla Radio after hours.
Yes.
But I think, like, at the end of the day, like, dude, it's tough, man. And we talked about Newcastle being down, and they graduated a lot of talent out of there. You know, Whiteland has some really good individuals too. And then kind of that same regional, and you know, the Newcastle semi-state has graduated a lot. They're going to be solid, but it's not like how it's been the last couple of years, where it's like, oh, they have a champ here, they have a champ here. Luckily, East Chicago still has a lot of tough, the top guys that, you know, you can have a good amount of champs, so we can, you know, still talk trash, and Region Rat can come out and get his post in and talk about taking all the hardware home to the region. But it's going to be good. And I think, like we talked about it last week on the youth forum. And if you haven't checked that out, like, check that out. Give those guys some love. They do a good job. M. Scholar does a good job. I know Hector used to do it. But that gives you a real good idea of who's going to be tough coming up, you know? And it's a lot of the same schools, and that's scary, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun tournament time. I just, you know, it's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be a lot of upsets. I mean, I'm already, you know, looking at our sectional and regional, you know, where are our best paths to get the most kids through, and, you know, where are we gonna? I mean, I was just texting with Nick before we got on here about, you know, them in Columbia City, because I know Columbia City has some pretty solid guys. You know, how some of those results that we might have some common opponents over and things like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm excited. I'm excited for, you know, we wrestled real well last night against Belmont, so kind of good way to end the season. So I'm kind of, you know, it's gonna be fun ride this year. So
yeah, I think you know, you look at something like, you know, who's going to be able to peak, and that's a big part of it too. And I know on the East Chicago post, someone was saying, like, you know, Maryville always finds a way to get guys to peak at the right time. And that's true. They've had great runs. Cathedral does a good job of getting guys to peak at the right time. As with everyone saying Newcastle's down, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Cathedral's in the top 5. I think Zionsville's a really good team, and they're young.
Oh yeah, they're real young.
I think that, like, that's going to be huge. Like, Zionsville could win the Newcastle semi-state. They have some really solid individuals, and it's just getting them peaking at the right time. But a lot of the coaches, like, we always do the winning percentage, like, who do you want in your corner? And it's not like a slap at anybody. It's not like we're trying to be disrespectful to someone about, like, oh, your winning percentage is bad. It's more of a compliment to the guys that, like, are not, like, selling their goals short, right? Through the whole state tournament, 2.5 minutes. I don't know, man.
You said semi-state. 4 matches.
Oh, the whole state tournament? Oh, yeah, semi-state possibly, yeah.
We need to. Man. I like that our bananas betting area, but I was not good at keeping up that. We need to find someone that'll do that. We could definitely do, you know, how much time will Jesse Mendez spend on the mat over under, you know, 12 minutes? Him and Carol.
I've been gambling up a storm too.
Bananas,
I just took down
just bananas.
Well, Indiana's a legal gambling state. I can gamble on sports. I took down 500 for the NFL football games on a parlay, so not bad.
It's nice.
But yeah, I think that you know, it's an interesting thing. Carroll's really good. You know, he was on the mat with it. What did we say? 30 seconds at Team State.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be difficult to see. I don't know who's gonna push him there. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but he's, you know, his boys Grange. Maybe Grange can go with them for a little bit. I'm sure they wrestle a ton. Grange is really good also.
Yeah,
But
Grange is
I mean,
about the only one in the semi-state that can push him.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about the number one guy in the country. It's like Mendez. Like he's the number one guy in the country. Like if those guys are getting taken down, it's like a story. Like man, Zeke took him down. Like it was a good match, but because he's the number one guy in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's hard to, you can sometimes it's hard to comprehend what number one in the country really means.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Those guys are we talked about it this summer. And Christian kind of falls in a weird spot. Like he did the other Midlands, not the Midlands at Northwestern that didn't happen, and he's like in a weird area just because he's kind of short. They don't have a 220 in college. It's more of an Olympic weight. It's 97, which he's probably like a little too thick for. Like he's pretty jacked, and he's a little short for heavyweight. But I'm not saying he can't do it. But yeah, I think Zeke is 3. But Jesse beat like college All-Americans this summer.
Yeah.
And it sucks because now, and not that it's their fault. He loves the sport, but like at some point, like he has to go out there and wrestle guys that might just be learning how to wrestle this year. Yeah. Like, hey, I just figured I thought I'd come out for a sport and try this out, and they put me in the lineup tonight to go after that guy. Like, oh, how good could he be?
Yeah.
I remember at the Lake County tournament when it was the actual Lake County tournament, a lot of teams were there. Gary Westside, obviously they're not following IndianaMat. I remember they went up to this kid from Lowell who was pretty jacked at like 13. They're like, oh man, you must be Angel Escobedo. And he was like, no, Angel's over there. He's like, that little dude? Nah, man, I'm more scared to wrestle you. Now Carroll wrestled, right? I thought he went out and wrestled the first match and then got beat and then defaulted out, right?
Yeah, that's what the bracket said. I didn't see the match. It wasn't well archived, so I never saw the match. But it said that he wrestled one match and then defaulted out. So I don't know what reasoning behind that other than I saw that he wrestled one match, and the brackets are hard to find. What was it, Nick? Were you doing that to your 106 pounder? You will wrestle. Now I had a kid that kind of said that he could beat Christian Carroll. Then I said, "Hey Christian, can you send this guy a message?" And then it scared that kid to death.
What's cool about both those guys and Zeke, those are good kids too, man. I think that's like the biggest part of it. Like they're not jerks; they're really nice kids.
Yeah.
Which is always pretty cool. Like I think sometimes someone asked me before, like a guy that wrestled like a couple years ago, like, is Jesse a jerk? I'm like, no, he's like actually probably one of the nicest kids we've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Like he's like hands down like one of the nicest. He was like a kid from like Valpo. And I was like, no, he's actually really nice. And when he looks cocky, I was like, I think he's just really good. Like, I think he's just a really good wrestler. I don't think that's any kind of like arrogance or anything. I think he's just a really nice kid.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Christian's like that. Zeke's like that. Zeke's really quiet and stuff. Hardest thing was to find good picture of Zeke for the magazine, because he's not one that celebrates or he gets his hand rose and walks off the mat, and so I had to. It was kind of a little harder for me to find a good picture of him to use. So actually, that one was from his sophomore year that I used on the magazine. So that tells you how hard it's hard to find good pictures of him and stuff, but but all those kids are great kids, and it's pretty cool to get to know them and talk to them, and especially when they're not wrestling, and just talk to them about life and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, I think that and that's always been like the coolest thing is like you get to meet a lot of like Brayton. We always said that about Brayton. Like someone was like, oh, he's a jerk. I'm like, no, like literally he's like one of the nicest people ever.
Yeah.
Like he's so nice, and maybe he's not nice on the mat. He's he's heavy-handed, but for the most part, like that's like one of the nicest kids you ever meet.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love talking to him and his parents. You run into him at a meet, like, and Brayton came up to Carroll this spring and did a one night clinic, and was great with the kids and stuff, and they were all like just enamored, and and I've known Brayton for a while, and it's kind of weird because it's like he's an idol to these guys, and it's pretty cool to see him interacting with the kids and getting better, and just it's pretty neat to see how these guys are interacting with the next generation of wrestlers, and inspiring them to, hey, you can do what I did. You can go place at the NCAAs and take David Carr to overtime. That stuff.
Yeah.
Showing them the stuff that they're using and stuff. It's pretty neat to see, and that's what we need more in the sport, is just giving back, especially and whether you're Brayton Lee or a semi-state qualifier at Caston High School, give back to the sport.
Well, look at like a lot of the guys. They had that youngest coach post, like what Cody's doing. Cody obviously had a ton of success in high school, so it's not apples to apples. Quinn was a one-time qualifier, and he's building a program. Stevenson out there. You get these young guys giving back, and they're going for it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Brayton stories, and I tell my brother, when we used to sit on press row, or we were on press row, I don't know how it'll be this year. He, after his freshman year, he had lost, and we had known him through Nick and stuff, and he was beat up. You could tell he was real sad. He had one loss. It was in the ticket round to Austin Bethel, and Bethel's going out there, and a group of kids like further down the row were like, "Oh, it's Austin Bethel, the Brayton Lee killer," and he's like, "Hold on, stop." He's like, "Hey guys, I'm Brayton Lee. I'd appreciate it if you guys didn't say that." And those kids was like, "Ooh," and he's like, "Go on, man. I'm sorry. It just it still hurts." And it's like, I just always thought that was a funny story, but like it wasn't like a hey, I'm upset. It was just like, hey guys, I'd appreciate if you didn't say that.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. But I mean, obviously they're like, oh crap, that's Brayton Lee. He could kick our butts, so we won't do that.
Yeah, but and that's part of it. I think, especially for some of the guys that are at that level, they're high school kids, and but there's kids that do look up to them. Mm-hmm. I think that's huge. Is you're right, giving back, or that could be anything. Like you could be, it doesn't even, like you said, it doesn't even have to be like a state champ or a 3-time champ or a 4-time champ. I mean, some of these guys are gonna get looked up to, like, oh, that's the only conference champ we ever had in our school, or the smaller schools, or that guy won regionals last year. Had a tough draw, but he's really good.
Yeah,
it's just
a lot of those schools, the semi-state qualifier, the the regional champ, the conference champ is looked up to high esteem, and giving back and helping out those little kids. I mean, I always enjoyed it when I was in school. It was fun to give back, and that's obviously I'm still doing coaching and stuff like that. But and there's many ways you can coach. You can ref.
Yeah,
you can give a little ploy to a little spot. Go if you can't coach, go ref. Definitely, there's not too many refs out there, so you can go there and get some good jobs and make some money, make some good amount of money, and you get the best seat in the house, and you get to go to state as much as you want.
And I think those guys, the older guys, and the system I think is a little bit weird, but we've gotten to it before. Those guys don't like it, I don't think, when I say that, but those guys take care of each other, man. They're out there, they hang out. It's really cool to see how they interact and like the relationships that they build, and how much those guys are all friends and they go out afterwards. Yeah. So, and you can make a little extra money.
Yeah, you make a lot of money doing it. There's a lot of money in it, and you get to work on your own schedule. You get to schedule who you want to wrestle. If you don't like the coach from Garrett, you don't have to schedule matches with Garrett.
And if you want to coach, you want to be an official at the IPO, you can wear shorts.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, IPOs, it's always funny. My wife always loves it when the refs get together, because they haven't really. I mean, they probably get together. They get together very rarely during the off season, but they all get together and they're all, chumming around and making fun of each other and stuff. And it's pretty neat group to get involved with, and definitely a group that if you get in that group, you do well with it.
Yeah, for the most part, those are all good dudes. I'm not gonna say they're all good dudes. I don't know them all. I don't want someone to be like, "Yeah, you said that guy's a good dude. Well, he did this." I'm like, I didn't know him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the guys I know, they're all good guys, man. But they are getting older too. So if I thought that she said one of the refs at the IPO was so hot. I said, it was Leo, wasn't it?
It was.
How
Troy.
about that picture of Leo?
Troy was really hot. Let me tell you, Troy was really hot.
How about man, Troy needs to do more New Prairie matches. How tall do you think Troy is?
Yeah.
364. They had Leo out here trying to raise Hunter's hand. It was like him holding on. He was hanging on.
He couldn't even get it to his shoulder. He could not get his hand to his shoulder.
And Leo is probably 5'7", you think?
Yeah, he's like same height as me. I mean, he's not. I mean, he might be 5'5", 5'6", but.
Yeah, and Hunter's what, 6'7"? We need Larry Babcock and Troy to ref those matches. Special guest referee, so he can raise his hand.
That would not. Jeez. I'm sure Troy sweats eating wings too. So, anyway, any other bits of information? Any other plugs? You know, like I'm serious about the refs, though. I mean, referees. It's a great group of guys, and you get in with that group, you get perks for life as long as you're in certain areas. But I mean, I have thought about getting into the referee area. I've done it. I had my license for about 5 or 6 years. It's a lot of work. You can make a lot of money, and even doing just like middle school stuff, even that kind of stuff. Even if you're, I mean, not wanting to go state level, but you can get middle school and give it back, and coaches don't care as much at the middle school level. Jeez.
I think that's huge. And there's a post on the board. It's like one of the Penn posts. So if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to get out of here. You guys get to hear us on Friday, 6:30 Central Time, maybe a little bit earlier, most likely a little bit earlier.
We like to call that region time.
Region time. 6:30 region time. Fake Chicago time. Actually, we will be in Chicago, so we'll be real Chicago time.
Nah, man, because all the real Chicago people are moving to Indiana now. So
yes, well,
better taxes.
What does the FIB mean?
I don't know.
Or FIL, something like that. I don't know what it was.
I'm not sure. I did that before. We used to live in Batavia, then we moved to Indiana when I was like in 7th grade or 8th grade.
Yeah.
So,
but we'll be back. We're gonna have a great event on Friday, so tune in and watch some great wrestling, and we'll be back Friday, then we'll be back Monday maybe. I don't know what we'll do next week. I know I actually probably won't do Monday because we have seating meetings, and we're gonna be hounding out.
Maybe Wednesday again.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Depends on my grocery
schedule. Just have your notifications set up on Facebook, and you're good. So anyway, have a good week, everybody, and we'll see you Friday.